Now my ice is gone, so I'm drinking it neat.
All right. You're a neat guy.
I'm a neat guy.
You're a neat
We're
guy.
so neat.
Yep. Right in. Actually, we're going to jump on right now. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Episode 85, weighing in with Travis Hartman. I'm B Money, the producer. That over there or over there. I don't know which side he's on. Weekend Trav.
What's up, B Money?
What's going on? So we're coming to you once again live for us, but not for you, from two different studios. My home office here in Orlando, Florida, but also Weekend Trav is there at the TH Boxing Facility on the second floor in the podcast room. So Weekend Trav, good to see you.
Good to see you.
What is that shirt you got on there?
Oh yeah, this is another new shirt. I'm going a little different. Instead of completely tropical and Hawaiian, it's
like a bandana.
Tropical.
It's like a bandana.
Yeah, a little bit. The design kind of is a little bit that.
It's
just a bunch of little swirly, cool stuff. I like it. I got the shorts as well. I'm not going to get up because I don't feel like it.
Please don't.
I do have the matching shorts. You might get a direct crotch shot, and we don't want that for the viewers. We got the.
I can't see.
We're back to PG-13, so we're trying to get the kids to start watching our show now. So
that works. Well,
cussing.
I know I don't want to stand up because then people will see that I actually am not wearing pants because I'm here in the comfort of my own home talking to you here.
And we just scared off the 10 viewers that we had.
Whatever. So episode 85, once again, this is Weighing In with Travis Hartman. You're finding us either on YouTube, on Rumble, or the audio source. You're finding it on iHeartRadio or Spotify or iTunes or wherever, all over the place. Everywhere you source your audio needs for podcasts, you're probably finding us there. We appreciate all the support. Any subscribers, if you have yet to subscribe, please do so below wherever your medium of choice is on YouTube or whatnot. Give us a little thumb up. Give us a little like, give us a little comment, hit the bell icon if you're on YouTube to know when the next time we post new content. But this is episode 85, Weekend Trav. We have a few things to run through. First and foremost is going to be some of the matches that were from this past weekend, but then also the calendar looks pretty robust, Weekend Trav.
I mean, this year it's been very robust. It has. And I heard B Money likes robust, so that's why we have a robust schedule for boxing right now.
I'm equal opportunity on the robust and the robust. So it's
that's pretty good. I see what you did there.
Oh, see, I'm always thinking a Weekend Trav. So yes, definitely subscribe below because this is the #1 beards, bourbon, and boxing podcast shot in Orlando. There's boxing. Shot in Orlando, Florida, specifically Gloria Park, specifically in a boxing gym on the second floor in the podcast room, right? Shot on a Sunday or Monday. Today happens to be a Tuesday, dropping on
Wednesday morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out.
So we've had a good wave of support recently. We appreciate that, and thank you YouTube for not banning us for some reason in particular. But Weekend Trav, I could talk about nonsense for a long time, and I don't want to do that, especially to our loyal tens of listeners and followers and viewers. So let's talk about the Beterbiev
now.
Oh yeah, it's true. Let's talk about Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr. That was on ESPN over the past weekend for Madison Square Garden. Definitely kind of went to script, I would say. And especially you made the prediction Weekend Trav wasn't going to last 4 rounds. Well, guess what? It didn't last 2 rounds. So Weekend Trav, give me a rundown of what we saw and what we see coming next.
Yeah, we had a unification of the light heavyweight division because right now Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr., and Dmitry Bivol had a portion of that light heavyweight title because there's 4 major belts. B Money. So that was for a unification bout. Joe Smith Jr. had 1 of the titles. Beterbiev had the other 2 titles. So it was a big clash of light heavyweights, and that's the way it should be. And I do believe we've talked about this year a lot. How many times have we talked about unification fights? A lot, which is more than I remember talking about. I've been doing radio almost 10 years now, and I can tell you right now that this year, in my opinion, and I think if we go back and check, I think this is the most we've ever talked about unification and undisputed titles.
Absolutely.
It's got to be, right?
I would love someone to do that stat. We obviously, our stat boys are hard at work crunching numbers for us, but really about bourbon, not about boxing stats.
Yeah.
But I would have to imagine we can, Trav, the amount that we are talking about unifications as well as undisputed, it seems really high, because that's been the biggest complaint to me, at least as a loose fan when I first started watching the sport a bit more and more and more. And obviously we do the podcast together, was, man, there's so many titles and everyone's a champ and this and that. And you still have a lot of that, but man, we are actually talking more and more about guys
Yeah.
holding 3 belts, all 4 of them. You know, it's great. This is what's great for the fans, because it makes it easier to watch and understand who's fighting who and who should be fighting who.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think that for the longest time, because I've been in boxing for literally 30 years, for the longest time, the main complaint that I always heard was, well, who's the champion? And I'm like, well, this guy, but also this guy. They're like, how does that work? Because all other major sports, when you talk about the NBA, who's the champion? Golden State Warriors. Now. You know why? Because they beat the finalists, and they're the champion. There's not 2, 3. It's not the Golden State Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers or the LA. It's literally the Golden State Warriors. They're the champion for 2022, right? MLB, same way. There's a champion of the World Series. The NFL, the Super Bowl winner is the champion. So boxing should be that way too. But I'm not complaining, because I do believe that I know that the 4 titles, it can be very confusing, but what they've done is they've set the groundwork now to really, really make it even more special when you win all 4. So I kind of like it. I kind of like there's 4 titles, because we talk about it. And the reason why I like 4 titles now is because back in the day, we used to have, we had 4 different titles and we'd have 4 different champions, and none of those champions would want to fight anybody else. So they used to just set on their title and just keep fighting their number 1 contenders and never unified. So that's why I didn't like it. But now, this is a big props to promoters as well, though, and the fighters. But promoters, television, and fighters now are saying, you know what? I'm not happy with just 1 title, because boxing got such a bad reputation for too many champions. So now I like it, because there is a lot of champions still. However, you got those really, really good fighters that want to be great. And what they're doing is they're unifying titles. They're having undisputed champions now. So I think, honestly, I think it was kind of brilliant marketing in a way, because now it's coming to fruition where the best are fighting the best. And that's what makes it better for the sport. That's why I genuinely believe the last couple of years, more than the last 10 years, really, the last couple of years, I think the sport of boxing has grown exponentially on all combat sports. I think I said it last time, and I say it again, no diss to any other sports, but combat sports right now, boxing is numero uno by a lot.
Yeah. And I think the one other thing you didn't fail to mention when it comes to, you know, wanting to be competitive, having that competitive drive, the animal drive, is the fact that you just want all that drip, man. You want to wear more than 1 belt. You want to wear all 4.
Right.
And I mean, how many unanimous do we have right now? I think we have like, what, 3 or something?
I think we have a couple. I know that it was Josh Taylor, right, for 140. We got Devin Haney at 35. Canelo Alvarez at 168. He was a super middleweight. He won all those titles. Who else is there? We might be missing somebody, but that's at least 3 right there. That's more than I could tell you in a long time.
So let's hear. So give me the rundown here on this fight in particular. We had Beterbiev, who's hailing from Canada, because he can't be recognized as from Russia at this point, but hailing from Canada, at least training out of Canada.
He's actually been out of there for a little bit too, to be fair as well. But yeah, he's technically, I think he is Russian.
Right. So Joe Smith Jr., that went second round. Probably could have been done on the first, but that went to the second.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is, every time I make predictions, sometimes people obviously get upset because they love another guy a little emotionally more. And the Joe Smith story is such a fantastic story. I think he's from New Jersey up there, so that's why the fight was at Madison Square Garden, because it's right across the bridge, pretty much. But Joe Smith Jr. has like a full-time construction worker job, and the guy became world champion. And that's what's pretty awesome about his story. He's a world champion. He had one of the major titles and stepped in the ring with Beterbiev, who was 17-0 with 17 knockouts. And guess what happened? Right. Exactly what me and you both talked about. We both knew it was going to be a knockout. A lot of people, even Vegas, had the over under at 8.5. I was like, no way, dude. No way. I said 4th round. I actually thought it even might go 6, to be fair. After the fight started, I was like, oh my gosh, like Joe Smith's tough. He was popping his jab good. But then later in the first round, Beterbiev got to him, and Beterbiev, the dude punches harder than anybody realizes, but he's also got incredible timing, incredible speed. He's very savvy because he had a long amateur career as well. And I told everybody this story. The reason why I picked Beterbiev in 4, which obviously Vegas thought I was crazy, because those odds for 1 to 4 rounds for the prop bet, they were massive, which means they didn't expect it to happen. But I did, because Beterbiev's trainer, John Scully, I trust this guy. I've known this guy since I was like 10 years old. He's a straight up honest guy. Genuinely one of the most honest guys in boxing. I'm not kidding. And I'm not blowing it out of proportion. There's many other people that will tell you the same thing. One of the most honest people in boxing. He was like, Travis, this guy's a freak. This guy, in a good way, not a bad derogatory way, but he's like, this guy, he punches harder. He trains harder than you think. Today, literally today, John Scully just posted today, said, here's why I keep telling you guys Beterbiev's great. He's literally in the gym training. There's a video of it. And John Scully goes, that's a real video, guys. He's back in the gym training already. That's why he's great. That's why he knocked out Joe Smith in the second round. He ended up knocking down Joe Smith 2 or 3 times. Joe Smith, to his credit, kept getting up, but was just outgunned, outmanned. He was in there with a guy who is gonna be great. You know what I mean? There's always people that are good, and there's just that little different level of the greatness. And I think if you looked at that fight and you knew nothing about either guy, you would say 100% Beterbiev is on another level. And that is zero disrespect to Joe Smith Jr. That is just, he happened to be in the ring with a light heavyweight that is literally going to run that division, and already does, because he's got 3 of the major titles. The only other title in that division is with Dmitry Bivol, who just beat Canelo Alvarez.
Right. So we've talked about him on the show a few weeks ago, obviously beating, like you said, Canelo Alvarez. So we can Trav, I guess that would be kind of like the next setup here. Do we see that fight coming down, or do we see that fight happening? Beterbiev and Bivol. Could we actually see that here on the horizon in the near term? Because Bivol had no marks on. He had nothing. He was good. So we could possibly see that by the end of the year, you would think.
Yeah, I mean, you could, because I think you will technically you could, because Canelo, it has a rematch clause in there. I think he's going to exercise it, but Canelo is fighting Triple G in September.
Right.
And you think after that he will fight Bivol, Canelo will, but that just leaves wide open for Beterbiev to fight Bivol, which I'm going to be honest with people. I've been a huge Canelo fan. I still think Canelo is in the top 2 or 3 pound for pound in the world. Still, I do. Even though he lost to Bivol, I think he's up there in the top 3 pound for pound mix, period. He's great. But I don't think he wants anything to do with Beterbiev, period. The guy is a beast. When Beterbiev knocked out Joe Smith Jr., it just further cemented who this guy is. He's 18-0 with 18 KOs, B-Money. He's got 100% knockout ratio. So it should happen. And I think you brought up a good point off the air about Bivol and Beterbiev happening is they fight for 2 different TV stations. One fights for ESPN and Top Rank. The other one fights for DAZN. And I think you said Bob Arum was kind of talking some smack about who watches DAZN. Listen, Bob, in all due respect to what you've done for the sport, because you've done a lot, you're out of your damn mind, because the biggest ratings guy in all of boxing, whether he's the best or not, whatever, is Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez, last couple of years, he's fought for DAZN. So, Bob, all due respect, more people are watching DAZN than they're watching your network.
Well, I think definitely globally they are. In the U.S., if you went, down the street, to sports fans, 8 out of 10 people aren't going to know what DAZN is versus what ESPN is, right? But globally is different. DAZN is much more of a global brand, global product, because it's more than just boxing on it. There's a lot of other sports and things like that, but it just hasn't caught on as significantly yet in the U.S. So yeah, he's 100% wrong, but who knows? We don't know how that fight will mix up or what the promoters will come up with. There's a lot of money involved for sure, and possibly looking at another unanimous guy. I stopped talking.
Oh, okay. I thought we froze up for a minute.
No,
you just like
I just didn't move. I just didn't move.
Yeah. You freaked like this. So, but a good lead into all this was, I wanted to bring this up because on that same card as the Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. card, the Abraham Nova fought on that card.
Oh,
so I want to bring that. I want to bring that up is because the Abraham Supernova fought a guy who we thought he was going to beat. I didn't do my due diligence and checked into that. We didn't really make a prediction, to be fair. We didn't, because we didn't know enough. But looking at his record, the Ramirez guy was like 8-1, I think was his record. I'm like, oh my gosh, like for sure. So the reason I bring that up is because don't overlook a guy with one loss anymore in boxing, because Bernard Hopkins, most people don't realize this. Bernard Hopkins, who was knocked out by Joe Smith Jr., but Bernard Hopkins turned pro and lost his pro debut. Bernard Hopkins was 0-1 as a professional. And then he went on like a 13-year streak of not losing. So don't discredit people based on just a little loss or their record, because you never know unless you really do your homework. This guy was 8-1 and he beat Supernova, who was like 27-0.
Yeah.
He knocked him out.
So, and here's the thing. So I hate to see it because I like Abraham Supernova. I really like him. I think I think he brings an energy. I don't think he was looking past Ramirez by any means, because Ramirez guy he's like a 2-time Olympian and stuff like that. So he knows what he's doing.
He knew. Yeah. Supernova.
He's Cuban. Yeah. It's just, and Nova even said afterwards, listen, I got hit with something I didn't see coming. And he didn't, no discredit to the other guy. He was a better man. I lost. And I didn't see that. The knockout came. I didn't see it. Unfortunately, looking like, in my opinion, kind of one of the knockout candidates of the year. That was kind of nasty.
It was on the button, dude. It was a good shot.
With one of my guys that I've bandwagoned a little bit. But, you can't get it right all the time, Weekend Trav. There's also a reason why Nova was like a plus 350, plus 400 on Vegas view for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they did. There was a reason for that. And I didn't look into it enough because, to be fair, it was an undercard bout, and the bout that mainly the whole world was looking forward to was the Beterbiev versus Joe Smith. So I paid more. We both paid more attention to that in our predictions. But definitely the Ramirez, like, good for this guy. This guy is pretty good. I don't know how. I still don't know how though. He lost his pro debut. He lost a split decision in a 4-rounder. So anything can happen in 4 rounds. Anything can literally happen in 4 rounds. That's not enough rounds to get the full exposure of guys. So that's probably what happened to him. And who knows? The story is, it's boxing. Supernova is 27 or 28-1 now. He's going to live to fight another day. And I think this was a humbling experience for him. And I think that he's taking the loss the correct way. Because like you said, he made a post after that, giving respect. There was zero excuses. He didn't say, oh, I didn't train well. Or he goes, no, you know what? The guy was better than me on that day. He caught me with the punch I didn't see. I'll be back. And that's what you want to hear, because people do lose. It happens. It's, some of the most beloved fighters have 4, 5, 6 losses on their career. I think Muhammad Ali had 5 losses, 6 losses even maybe. Mike Tyson's got a lot of losses too. So some of the best ever, they became the best ever. You know why? Because they dared to be great. That's why Canelo, he's daring to be great, and he lost to Bivol, but he's only got 2 losses on his record. He's daring to be great. He lost to Mayweather and Bivol now, all world champions, all guys that are pretty legit. However, I don't think Bivol's probably the best light heavyweight, though. Beterbiev probably is, but they're both full-fledged light heavyweights.
Yeah. Well, we will see if that comes to us later on this year, maybe early next year. Just really depends on how the promoters want to handle that Weekend Trav. But there's a lot of other promotional activity going on over the next couple of months, next few weeks, really. Let's run down that for the watchers and listeners at home, just how busy and jam-packed we're actually looking at this calendar coming up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to give you a read off from the schedule for next weekend, which is June 25th. It's a Saturday. There's DAZN fights. They're probably not guys you've ever heard of, but it's going to be exciting fights. There's a woman fight on there, Jessica McCaskill, who, if you don't know her, Jessica McCaskill beat literally like the queen of boxing. So she's out there. It's for the undisputed women's welterweight title. As we were talking earlier, how many times have we heard unified and undisputed this year? A lot. And now it's on the girls' side too. And I love to see girls' side. They're women. On the women's side, I love to see that. So that's going to be a fight on DAZN. You have a couple of flyweight men's titles there. You have this guy, Sor, I can't say his name, but it's Sor Rungvisai, who's very good. He beat Chocolatito, I believe. So he's going to be on that fight, in Jesse Bam Rodriguez. That's on DAZN, June 25th. Amazing fights. Also on ESPN Plus, they have a junior flyweight title, Elwin Soto, Hecky Budler. I don't really know those two guys that well, but it's on ESPN Plus. So it's on ESPN Plus. These guys are going to be very competitive. And for sure, it's probably for a title. And then on my birthday, July 2nd, we're seeing a pay-per-view card with, wait for it, Ricky Hatton and Marco Antonio Barrera.
Exhibition
Dude,
matchup there.
I love it. I love it because it's a real exhibition fight, meaning these guys aren't trying to do a real fight. They know they're retired, and they are, but they're not decrepit. You know what I mean? They're older, but they're not like decrepit. They can still fight. I know that Ricky Hatton's in his 40s. I don't know what Marco Antonio Barrera is. He's late 40s, probably early 50s. Regardless, it's going to be kind of a fun exhibition. So I think people should definitely tune in. I'm cool with it. And then we have some Showtime fights July 9th. We have some more DAZN fights on July 9th with Derek Chisora, heavyweight fights, which are going to be good. Derek Chisora versus Kubrat Pulev, awesome fight.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward even further. July 16th, DAZN, Ryan Garcia, King Ryan is back fighting Javier Fortuna. That's not my boy, but he can fight. He's undefeated. That division is exciting. So I want to see that.
And that fight was supposed to happen back, I can't remember how long ago. I can't remember if that was the fight before he hurt his hand or before he had a mental breakdown. Not breakdown. I shouldn't say that. But before he decided.
Well, I mean, it kind of was though. It kind of was. He was self-admitted.
He had anxiety, but what he really should have done is put his phone down and stop going on Instagram and criticizing his fellow compatriots when he was on the sidelines, not fighting. He shouldn't have been critical of them fighting, yada, yada. But I think this is the guy he was supposed to fight before he hurt his hand and before the surgery.
You're exactly right.
Okay, so we have that coming up. And I don't know what else rounds out July, but we can travel. I know there's a lot of stuff in August, too. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I know for one, we are looking at Jake Paul fighting
August
6th, fighting a mystery opponent, which is rumored to be, according to my sources, Tommy Fury.
And do not question B Money sources because they're solid.
No, so there's two other names that have been thrown in the mix. There's a lot of contract negotiation going on, so that's why we haven't actually seen a confirmed name. But we've also seen the name of Nate Diaz thrown in there, as well as Dylan Danos. Those are two names that have been always thrown together with Jake Paul, or at least they're trying to drum up some sort of activity. Dana White even came out recently, I think as of the last day or 2 days, saying that, yeah, Nate should go ahead and go fight him. Okay, so there's a lot of issues going on with the contract there with UFC. So
yeah, anyways, but that's been ongoing with Dana White and the Diaz brothers for
correct.
All of them. They've always been fighting. So of course Dana's like, get out of here, dude. I don't want you here anymore.
But more than likely, if they can get the commas and dollars and cents all worked out, we're finally going to see Tommy Fury taking on Jake Paul, which I've been very, very open about this weekend, Trap. Looking forward to that one. To me, that's a snooze fest.
Yeah, and I know why they're doing it. They're doing it not for fans like you. They're doing it for the average fan who criticizes Jake Paul for not fighting a boxer. So they're going to try to fight a boxer. So, but I think you're right. I think they're trying to make that fight. But I also think that if he doesn't fight him, he will fight a ex-MMA fighter for sure. He will for sure fight another MMA fighter because one, this is MMA, and not just MMA, but UFC specifically is probably the second popular combat sport in the world. So Jake Paul needs popular fighters to sell his fights right now. Still, he's very popular. He is, but he also does need a bigger seller as well. And the only thing that would make sense right now, unless he fights Tommy Fury, a lot of people know him because of Tyson Fury. It's his brother. They're half brothers and he's from England. So I think this fight would sell a lot because it brings over the English crowd, which follows their fighters phenomenally. And whether Tommy Fury is even close to being what Tyson Fury is, which let's be real, he's not. I think Tommy Fury is 7 or 8-0, but he's not even a fraction of what Tyson Fury is. To be fair, Tyson Fury is great though. Let's give that respect for sure. But Tommy Fury has a long ways to go, a very long ways to go. So I think that's the biggest money and biggest seller fight right now, I think, for Jake Paul. It's a fight that's going to need to happen. I know that you don't want to see it, but the sooner we get it over with, the better. So I hope it is August 6th because we need that fight to happen. I need to stop hearing people say, oh, well, Jake Paul's not good because he's never fought a boxer. He's going to fight a boxer. He's going to beat Tommy Fury. He will, in my opinion, he will. So we can get over that and then get back to talking about real boxing. But you skipped one at the end of July. We have July 30th on Showtime. We have Danny Garcia versus Jose Benavidez Jr.
Sure. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think Benavidez Jr. has been back in the ring since he fought Crawford. I don't believe. And Danny Garcia, plenty enough to say about this guy. He's a multiple-time world champion. So it's going to be a great fight. But how crazy, dude. I say this, but I'm not wrong. How crazy packed has boxing been all freaking year, man?
And that's not
And
even
it's delivered.
talking about, and that's not even talking about the heavyweight fight that was scheduled with AJ Anthony Joshua taking on Usyk on August 20th. I think that's in Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So we have plenty of time to talk about that one over the weeks ahead, but that was as of this past week as well. Sign on the dotted line, that fight, that rematch is happening. So we could Trav, you are absolutely correct. Boxing, it's not necessarily that it didn't go anywhere. It's been here.
I know, and it's like, yeah, and it's delivering. It's like it's delivering every week. And not only are they good fights, but they're delivering. You know what I mean? Like they're actually been very exciting fights. And you know what? Just announced as well, Teofimo Lopez is coming back August 13th to ESPN. Be his first fight back since he lost that undisputed title to George Kambosos, who then turned around and lost that title.
But then also he has I don't know what the terminology is, but he has I guess initiated his rematch clause.
He exercised the rematch clause.
We go. As of the past couple of days. So folks, I tell you what, there's a lot going on. It's delivering. Boxing is delivering. But you know what also is delivering the weekend, Trav? Weighing
In with Travis Hartman.
Episode 85. It has delivered as we have promised. I don't think we actually promised, but I'm going to say that we did.
I think we did. I think we should have. If we didn't, I think we should promise now that we have delivered, because you know why we've delivered? Because we have steadily saw an increase in views, which means that people are still watching, but they're also coming back to watch again. And I appreciate that. I think we both appreciate that they're obviously getting quality boxing knowledge, or getting quality boxing news. And we talk about a lot of cool stuff. We talk about breaking news. We talk about upcoming stuff. We talk about fights that have already happened. So I hope people keep tuning into us, because we do know what we're talking about.
And sometimes we quote random movies and put random things out there. And sometimes one of us will throw out, hey, comment below certain whoever this was. So we can try. I don't know if you got prepared for that. Maybe scroll through there.
I got you. I'm there. Okay.
Okay.
So we put out a little deal. Put out a little deal to where B Money threw out a pretty awesome quote from Dodgeball. Pretty awesome. And we made a little video and we said, anybody that commented on our YouTube video, I would pay $25 to the random person. So to be fair, we only had 3. Thanks a lot, guys. I got like 100 comments on a couple other videos, but you know what? It is what it is. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do a drawing right now for those 3. So we had 3. Brandon Duensing, we're going to say he's number 1. Michael Hunsucker, we're going to say he's number 2. And Centron, we're going to say he's number 3. I have a random generator on my phone.
Sure.
Okay. And it goes 1 through 3. I'm going to press the button. Whichever number it lands on, that's who I'm going to pay $25 to. Also, though, you got to be watching this. So when this posts tomorrow, we need another comment, and I will Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, whatever to you, $25. But I'm going to press that button.
It's just like our gambling record weekend, Trav. Easy money, folks.
Easy money, be money. All right.
This was an easy money thing.
I'm going to press it, and then I'll hold it up close so you guys can see who hit it.
All right.
3.
I see it. 3.
Boom. So that 3 was Centron, my man Centron. He's actually trained with me before, and he lives here in Florida. So he's the $25 winner. However, I'm going to let you know that you won, but to get the payment, you got to comment on the episode 85 as well. And then you know what? No, you got to comment and you have to share our YouTube video. Then I'll send it to you. How about that?
Wow.
That's a good deal, right?
You guys didn't know all you signed up for when you commented below last week on my quote about drinking pee. That is terrible, and I like the taste. That's not true. I don't actually do that.
You know what? Be money. I feel like I feel like you need to throw another quote out there so we can do another game. That's a kind of a fun game. Do you have
Oh my
anything on the
gosh.
top of your dome about a pretty funny movie?
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. I like it. Okay, that's perfect.
Good luck.
So good. So I hope that you mofos were watching this, because I'll do another giveaway, but this time it's $25 if I have 10 or more comments. 5 or less comments, it's only $10.
Oh,
Okay. So the more comments we get, the price goes up. Okay. So tell your
Wow.
friends, tell everybody, like, subscribe, comment, do what you got to do, and I will pay up. Also, I'll make sure that he posts that I paid him, because I don't want to think anybody thought we were lying, because I wasn't. I'll be honest. I will pay $25 to Centron, because I know he'll post it for us. He's the man. So here you go.
That would
buddy.
be
$25.
that could be 2 comments right there. So, all
Yep.
right, Weekend Trav, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. We don't need any final remarks here. You know what? Happy belated Father's Day to you. This was your first Father's Day this past
you, sir.
Sunday. So
You as
wanted to
well.
wish you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I've been in that game for 14 years, but the first one's always very special, is what I'm told. So anyways, Weekend Trav, that's it. On behalf of you and everybody, we appreciate not only those that subscribe, but also our media media partners, TH Boxing, Goldstein Financial, and IF Enterprises. Thank you so much as always. And with that, I'm just going to say, and I don't know if I'm pointing that way or that way this time, but I'm going to say this. That over there is Weekend Trav.
Abracadabra. That there is B money.
God bless. See you next week.
Magic fingers.
All right.